Hi, my name's Dave Bronze and I'm doing a little review of an amp that my friend Daniel Holmes from Danplifier sent me. This is a 2-watt valve amplifier, and it uses a valve called a Compactron 6AF11. And a Compactron tube is a really interesting tube. It's basically like a 12AX7 preamp tube, and it's also got like a pento tube in at once. And what that means is you can have your preamp and your power amp all powered by the same little valve. Now, these Compactron tubes were invented sort of to compete with transistors, and what they wanted to do to keep the cost down, they made a tube that for TV sets that would just use one valve socket and would use less heater power, because you just need you know, the one connection for the heaters to the amp. So it's a really cool looking little valve. And if you use this tube, you can get a 2-watt amplifier. So all I'm going to do today is I'm just going to demo some clean and some distortion sounds with it, and then demo it with some pedals at the front, some boosters, and then also a couple of different guitars as well. Okay, so all I'm going to do today in this demo is I'm going to play a few guitars through the setup so you can hear a variety of clean and distorted tones. The setup I'm using, I'm playing my Korean Fender Strat with bare knuckles pickups, a really low output set, quite vintage. I'm going into my boost pedals, and then I'm going out to 2 notes load box with a Celestion, I think it's a vintage 30 or maybe a GH12 speaker IR in it. So no further ado, let's have a listen to some of the clean tones. So here on the dial I've got it about midway, and at midway it's still quite clean with just a little bit of hair on it. So let's try it on the bridge pickup. And obviously with this kind of amp, you've only got a volume and a tone. I've got the tone dimed because I like it quite bright, and then I'm going to just bring up this to get a bit more drive. Try that on the neck pickup now. And now totally dimed. So the more you dime the dial, the kind of more gritty it gets, and the more, I guess it has kind of quite a vintage, early kind of Stones, Rolling Stones kind of vibe to it. On the bridge pickup. So I'll just dial back the volume now a little bit more, just so it's slightly clean. I'm just going to hit it with a booster pedal. So the pedal I'm using is the Wampler Tumnus, which is a kind of clon style booster pedal. Let's just have a listen to that on the neck pickup. Bridge pickup. So yeah, yeah, so with the drive pedal, it can still take the drive pedal pretty well, and it doesn't sound too bad actually with the single coils. I actually prefer the sound of this amp with humbuckers, so I'm just going to quickly show you that. So this guitar has a Seymour Duncan Blue Saraceno trembucker, which is a medium to high output pickup. And straight away you're going to be able to drive this little 2-watt amp into overdrive much easier. So here I have a humbucker equipped guitar. This has a Blue Saraceno trembucker by Seymour Duncan in, and it's not mega high output, but it's certainly much higher output than the single coils on my Strat. So let's just check this out. Again, you get that kind of classic vintage thing where the harder you pick, the more hair, kind of the distortion you get on the notes. You get quite nice note separation as well. Let's try it with the booster pedal on now. So yeah, so I think that sounds pretty cool. I mean, this amp's probably not really suited to super fast shredding of the kind that I was attempting to do there. It has a bit of that vintage sag to it, which means the note just has that really nice kind of, I guess what they call bloom to it. So if you're a blues player, this is a great amp. At 2 watts, I'd say it's great because you can really crank it at home. Great to practice with. If you're going to gig with it, at 2 watts it's probably not loud enough unless you're going to mic up the cab, to be honest. But this is a sensational little practice amp, and it's really fun to play as well, just because you get that kind of real responsiveness that you get from a kind of single-ended tube amp. So there you go. If you want to find out more about the amp, head over to Danplifier's website and Facebook page and look them up. Thanks for watching.